It's the Do Not Scratch Your Eyes post-match phone-in on X or Twitter or whatever it's called these days.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Well, that's a different one, isn't it? Now, I have to warn everybody that it's probably going to be a very cliche or quotation-laden spaces or whatever we want to call this, because I was watching that game and I was like everybody else at the start going, why have we chosen the team we have? Fair play to Vivaldo Semedo. I thought he had an appalling first half until he made a decent run and got fouled and the referee gave nothing, which was, let's be honest, a theme for the day. But he was, he did well to hold up the ball for the assist for Imran Loser to get us back in the game. And he got the head. He scored. Fair play to him. So, let's hope he will come. But I mean, it felt an odd thing after Monday having him kept in, but he's done well. Fair play. And I thought, for me, Loser was absolutely he's like perpetuation or a perpetual motion machine today. But how on earth were we not 3-0 down at the break? How on earth? They say that Napoleon said he would rather have lucky generals than good generals. And maybe that's what we had with Petzolano tonight. And I'm not trying to be indignant. He's got a result. Somebody, and I think it was Tommy. I could be wrong. Tommy, let me know if I'm wrong. Had said something along the lines about the famous Norwich FA Cup game where Alex Ferguson was 5 years into his tenure at Manchester United, and there was a game where Mark Robbins scored a last-minute equaliser in the FA Cup, which was the last thing they could possibly win. And he'd just been 5 years barren, no silverware at Man United. They went on and won the replay and won the league, won the FA Cup, and then obviously we know the kind of the dynasty that he was set. Could that have been Petzolano's one? Could that have been Petzolano's Norwich game and that moment? I don't know, but I look at that game just on the performance alone, and that first half especially. Here we go, cliche alert, number 27, game of two halves, and we came at it, and Hull seemed to die a bit. I was thoroughly impressed with Ollie McBurney, as I am every time I see him, because he's just a right royal pain. And he did really well, but like a lot of their play, seemed to die in the second half a little bit. And we came on, and there seemed to be some belief in that team, there to try and grab something out of it, and grab something out they did. But I'm still trying to work out how the overall performance warranted it when you look at the chances on goal. But I'm going to take it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to never mind the quality. Everybody feel the 3 points, I think, is probably the way to go. But a lot of questions, especially when that team came out, that we've got such an attacking lineup in terms of the squad, and yet such a defensive lineup in terms of the shape. And we not have more attacking intent in the first half of games? I don't know. Does the end justify the means? Does it mean he'll get through to the, beyond the international break, as a lot of people, including myself, was thinking, well, he's gonna be gone, surely. And we're talking to people beforehand. Let's talk to Rich, who often starts us off in epic style. Rich, I've done my normal waxing lyrical. Well, if you want to call it that. Well, what are your thoughts after that? Because it was, you just tell me what you think.
Yeah, hi, Pete. You hear me all right?
I've got you loud and clear, mate.
Good. Yeah, well, yeah, as you said about cliches, I mean, the 100%, it was a game of two halves. I'm not sure it was a massive game of two halves, but it certainly was a game of two halves. I mean, let's go right back to the walking into the Vic today, and it was flat as a pancake because everybody saw the team sheet, and nobody, and there's not nobody in that ground can believe that team sheet that's been put out there today. I mean, the substitutes bench today is one of the strongest we've probably ever had.
Yeah.
But they're all on the subs bench. So we go into the game, and then it's flat, and you've got Matty Pollock right-footed playing left centre back with Jeremy Ngakia right-footed playing at left back. So straight away you've got two left-sided players, both right-footed. So straight away you're coming in, the balance is all wrong. You've got Kevin, who just seems to sort of stroll around today and worry the life out of me. We've got a midfield with no Kiprianu on it, which just was absolutely staggering. Not to take away that the guys that were in there kept going. Now, the first half was as poor as anything. And as you quite rightly say, how on earth Hull aren't 3-0 up is just beyond belief. And there lies the question. We've ended the game, we've won the game, and a lot of people will be remembering that and going home, and that's fine. But what you do have to remember is what happened in that first half. If we're playing a better team than Hull City, the game is over at half time. Yeah. Can Watford under Pezzolano keep playing these team sheets and getting, they're not getting away with it often. They lost again on Monday with the most awful performance away to Millwall, who had more than half their squad on the injury list.
13 players out on Monday.
13. So we've turned up today at home and we've put that team out. Now, I agree with you. I don't want to. Semedo's a young lad. He should be on loan somewhere in Division 1 learning his trade. He was horrific in the first half. The second half, and I'm going to give him some credit. I like to see something about a player that keeps going. He kept going. He created that foul, as you said. Really, the guy should have been sent off. I'm right in line with it. The guy's pulled him back. It's an absolute red card. The referee, I don't know what on earth he was thinking. It's a stone cold red card. Didn't get it. He kept going. He then had what I think was his Jefferson moment. I think it was him. He's literally missed. He's missed from a yard. Yeah. And I thought, oh my dear. And then out of nothing, he's let like a salmon to a great cross from Loser and a lovely, lovely header. And before that, he's created the goal for Loser with holding the ball up in the penalty box. So tick, tick. He's a young lad. So, let's give him some slack and hopefully he can build on that. He got the goal, as unlike Jefferson, who never recovered from misses like that. Semedo, maybe. I can't believe he's in the team. I can't believe he's starting over Kieran Gard, but that's what happened. And credit to the team in the second half, led, as you said, by the inspirational Loser. He was magnificent. And I'm going to give two other big plaudits. Loser was just instrumental. He drove them forward. I thought the lad at right back, Petrus, is it? Am I pronouncing that correctly? I thought he had a super game. And credit to Baxter. I thought he was very decent in goal. He never made me concerned at all. He made a cracking save to keep it not 2-0. And I thought he did all right. Full credit to him. I think there's a decent backup keeper there that will be able to do his bit. So full credit to him. I'm scraping around a little bit after that, and then I'm thinking to myself, what is Barr doing on the bench? Do you hear me still?
No, I'm with you loud and clear. I'm
quiet sometimes. You think that.
I am hanging on every word. It's all quality stuff. Can I just say though, before you carry on, which I certainly hope you will, this is a strong start from Rich. Everybody, I told you it was going to be cliche laden, and we've already had rose like a salmon. Everybody who comes on, I want to see you meet this level that we have. It's excellent. Game of two halves and all of that. We want to have maximum cliche.
It's a game that anybody that wants to write about cliches shows you. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
But going back, and as I say, again, Barr is sitting on the bench for 75 minutes. It's a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense. And it's just there's obviously a problem. I can't actually believe it's my car telling me I need to stop for a cup of tea. Unbelievably,
hold on. You have a car that tells you to stop for a cup of tea?
I know. I know this modern stupid car, and it won't go off. It'll go off in a second. And so basically, we've got that situation with Barr, and then you're thinking to yourself, just imagine having a coach that can properly coach the players that we've got at our football club. And there lies the problem. This bloke we've got running is a clown. It's a nonsense. He cannot continue. I don't think we'll walk into Vicarage Road next Saturday with him as manager. I think today we'll just paper over the cracks. I just don't think it'll happen, or it'll be after. We're Portsmouth on Wednesday, away game, and then he'll be back. And that's not me getting all excited about a change of manager. I have no hunger for a change of manager, but I just think he's lost everybody already. The crowd after the goal goes in are singing "Sacked in the Morning." They're cheering when we've had a shot. We're 6 games in. He's lost the fans already. you talk about, and when he is introduced to us, it was, you know, there's a statement up on the website. You know, Pezzolino will bring attacking, you know, front foot football, hunger, pressing. We'll be a pressing monster. I mean, oh my God, if we're a pressing monster, God help us. That's all I can say. And as I say, when we play better teams, and we will, we'll be in trouble if we're going to give teams 45 minutes, 50 minutes start. We won't be in games, and it's going to be fascinating to see what he does Wednesday. Obviously, Bar returns to Portsmouth for the first time after the shenanigans of the last time.
We forgot about that.
Yeah, that could be fun Wednesday night. I'm sure they won't forget. And what's the team going to be? You know, what is the team going to be? And I just don't know. It was. Sometimes you look at yourself and I come out. Did I enjoy my afternoon at football today? And I probably didn't, because it just felt a horrible atmosphere. I want to go to the Vic and see it pumping and seeing my team score goals and excitement. And it just felt like a tinderbox. I mean, you know, and I know, and everybody listening to this, if Hull score a second in that first half, the place goes, it explodes. You know, and it's as simple as that. And that is the tinderbox that we are. But let's end on a positive. There was something about them in that second half. There was one or two players that really got lifted, and you know, they got the win. I've no idea how they got the win, but you're going to go to games hopefully in the season, no, not hopefully, but we'll play very well in games and probably not get what we deserve. Today we got 3 points, and how I explain that to people that weren't there is beyond me, really, because. And if you're Hull going up that motorway tonight, you are kicking yourself from here. And I agree with you. Ollie McBurney, I mean, he's to be fair to him, he's on the latter part of his career.
You don't know. He's 29. I know he looks like he's 43.
Yeah, I know, but I'd still say that's for the way he plays the game.
Yeah,
you know, because he runs for 95 minutes and he's a menace. And it was no surprise that he scored. But for the inside of the post, he'd have got another one. You know, and he was outstanding. And that is proper centre forward play. And that. I so pray that we have a centre forward like that one day, because he creates so much mess along the back that allows the players like Irakunda and Bar to, you know, could create havoc. We don't seem to have that at the moment. It might come, but we've won the game, Pete. Well, you know, I shouldn't be complaining, but let's not kid ourselves. You know, we are a long, long way off of a top 6 team, a long way. And if we're going to continue with Pezzolino, he's either got to be really allowed to just get on with it, or we've got to get in a coach that's out there, do a bit like West Ham have done today. There's a manager out there that they felt that they needed at West Ham, so they made a decision to get the right man. Mm-hmm. You know, are Watford going to do that? People like Danny Roll are out there hovering without a job, who's got possibly everything that we need, you know. But as I say, I have no appetite for change, but I can't warm to Pezzolino. I don't think anybody has. And I think he's alienated a lot of the supporters, and everyone is totally wanting to turn up and see Irakunda, Bar, Kieran Gard, and that on that football pitch, Hector Cupriani, and we didn't see any of them on that pitch apart from Irakunda. Start the game at home in a game where you need to win your home games. I'll let someone else have a go now, Pete. But there you go. It's as much as I can tell you. It's
fantastic,
baffling.
Fantastic. It was, as Rich always brings us, cliche-ridden, which is something we like very much, but also a wonderful lack of pronouncing any of the names correctly. Both Rich and I refuse to have any involvement with actually pronouncing these names correctly at all. Rich, thank you as ever. I will catch you very, very soon indeed. Lovely stuff. Cheers. Justin, are you with us, sir?
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go. Justin's with us now. Now he's co-hosting, so if everything goes a bit tits up like it did last week, and I turn it off and turn it on again, he will be here just to make sure things are cracking on, which is a very, very good thing indeed. Right, let's get across to first of all, I'm going to come to Dr. Dicky Sutton. I'm going to go to Mr. Mike Duffy. Then I'm coming to Pete, Unhippie Man. Hello, Pete. And then I'm going to come to John Thakanardi, who's basically head of Dubai and all things East. So do hang on there for us. Let's get across to Dr. Dicky Sutton, for he has a medical training. Dr. Dicky Sutton, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, Pete. I'm in good form, actually. Good form.
Very good. Are you over in Ireland, or have you been at the game today?
No. Unfortunately, I was watching on my laptop. So yeah. Just I've got over a couple of times this year already, and I'll probably be over next weekend. But yeah, I missed it this time. So, but it was good. I thought. I mean, look, you know what Rich is like. He can be a little bit pessimistic sometimes. I saw a few more green shoots perhaps than he did. But
how did you see it? Because the atmosphere in the ground, he's not wrong. In that first half, it didn't feel like it was. I didn't feel it felt like a tinderbox until Hull scored. And I thought, oh wow! I felt it was flat, but I didn't feel it was a tinderbox. Once that went in, it was like and that second goal lifted the weight of the world, I would suggest, in terms of it. But everybody's got to take the result. We've had many games, as Rich said there, where you don't think you get your just desserts. Perhaps today we came on the right end of a flip of a coin sort of couple of moments. But we've worked it. We've got the 3 points. What were the green shoots that you saw, and what were your thoughts from over there?
Well, first of all, there weren't any green shoots in the first half at all. I totally agree with.
It was shootless. It was shootless in so many ways. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and like from the announcement of the team sheet to the end of the first half whistle, it was like, oh crikey, here we go again. But actually, unlike Millwall on Monday night, I thought in the second half we were better in the second half of Millwall. But today, I thought we really pressed them back. And Hull, who'd in the first half, I think they pressed us very high, and they'd obviously saw that as a weakness for us, and they showed us how to do a high press in the first half. But in the second half, they didn't bother doing it. I think they let us come onto them, and they paid for it in the end. Like I'd agree with Rich. I think Petrus did really well down the right. I think it was fantastic. And Semedo did stick at it. It's great to see someone getting hold of a channel ball, getting it under control, and you're just slipping a pass into someone to score. I mean, crikey, we haven't seen that very often in the last 3 or 4 years, have we?
Yep, no, absolutely not. No, and it's important to remember with Semedo, and I don't disagree with anything that Rich said. I'm not being. There's no point being smart after the fact. But a number of people said, and I can understand why they did, was well, if you win, all of this was on Monday, all of you guys will all be kind of lauding them or everything. I think it's important, and I hope we tend to here, but other people can tell me that's not the case. Look at the talk and look at the performances and what goes on and what's good and what's not, as well as obviously looking at the result, because that obviously plays a large part. Yeah. I think today things went in our favour, and I think definitely Hull tired in that second half, because exactly as you said there, they put in a high press and they put in a high energy, and I don't think they had as much energy left in the second half. And I think we were sort of fresh, and it felt to me that maybe. And this is wise after the event. This wasn't sitting there thinking this is what he was doing at the time. But looking back at it, he's just gone with, we're going to be very solid. We're going to have 3 working hard in midfield. We're going to have 2 wing backs who are both 2 kind of defenders. Yeah, Petrus kind of got forward, especially in that second half, and really got forward nicely. And Ngakia seems to do okay at left back, but again, we kind of missed that natural left foot. And when as I say, we've got 3 left backs in the club, it does seem odd not to use one of them. We didn't have any right backs on Monday, and today we had 2 of them, and we had no left backs to start with. Yeah. It all feels a little bit harem-scarum.
It was crazy. I thought when Wiley came on, I think he added a bit more solidity down the left. Actually, I thought he did very well when he came on. I will say a few words about the manager situation.
Good. Yes, far away. What are your thoughts on it?
Because I think I'm probably in a very small minority.
Good. That's fine. We like small minorities here. Carry on.
I'm not going to come on here and criticise anyone calling for Petzolano to be sacked, because look, I understand that results are poor, performances, apart from a bit of the second half, they haven't been close anywhere near to what we expect from what most of us consider to be a better squad than last year.
Yep.
So, but that's something Carl said on the opposition view the other day rings very true to me. And it's kind of like the supporter base. It feels like we've kind of been infected by the culture driven from the top by Pozzo, where we're reaching for the corner flag at the earliest opportunity when a manager doesn't deliver instant gratification on the pitch. And look, I know all football fans call for the manager's head when their team's serving up garbage week after week. but it really feels like we've developed into a group with virtually zero patience, and I think that's, as the former chairman might say, a sad situation.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! What I like is a doctor coming on here saying we've got no patience. I mean, honestly, I mean, you can't write this. Go on, sorry, carry on.
Oh, that's too many puns. But like, I do appreciate I'm in the minority. If I look at, like, Petzolano's had our best player, Chak Vidadze, unavailable due to injury for the whole time he's been here. Losers missed a chunk of games due to that crazy red card. Wiley's just come back. The Mendy twins have just arrived. And I just think we need to give the guy a little more time for things to bed in. He has got a decent track record. Is it 3 second-tier promotions he's got on
Yes,
his
he has
track?
had 3 second-tier promotions and a cup in Mexico, I believe.
There you go. And I saw someone on Twitter say, or X or whatever it's called these days, that he's our worst ever manager. And I thought that person has obviously blocked out Hodgson for a start, and it's obviously too young to remember Mike Keane and Dave Bassett and Colin Lee and Steve bloody Perryman. I don't know, but he has lost the room a lot. I agree with Rich there. He has lost the room. Last Monday people were screaming for Sissoko and Kiambi to drop, and the same people had a meltdown when they saw the team sheet in Millwall. They weren't on it.
Yep.
But it just doesn't seem to be picking the players, our best players, which is odd. But yeah, he's kind of got away with it today. But
I think so.
I don't know. The managed team, it worries me a bit because there's precedents in our recent history. And actually, I'm going to give you three examples, quick examples. So I won't take too much time.
Go on.
But like when Jukanovic took over as manager in like October 2014, I think it was, we lost 4 league games on the bounce quite early on in his tenure. And as we all know, we nearly won the title that year. And again, if you go back a bit further, the promotion season under Boothroyd, what was that, 05, 06, was it?
Yeah.
We went 6 league games in September and October without winning. We went from 1st place to 10th place in the process, and people were kind of tearing their hair out then. And look, as you know, I'm an old duffer, so forgive me if I go even further back. Christmas 1979.
This is good. 79. We're now getting to my prime era. Yeah. I never had a prime, but I imagine it was somewhere in the late 70s.
So GT is in his third. He's midway through his 3rd season as manager. We're comfortably in mid-table in the old 2nd division, same league as we are now. The Boxing Day games against Luton, we lose 1-0. And then we proceed to go on a 3-month winless run in the league, dropping down the table like a brick in water. And it was March before we won again, would you believe? That's under Graham Taylor. And then after Easter, we lost 3 on the spin, and we were in the drop zone. So, did Elton sack him? No, because we rallied towards the end of the season, stayed up, and of course, the rest is history. So look,
in fairness, and I have to balance that particular one out. Graham Taylor had just won 2 back-to-back promotions in the seasons that preceded this. There was some credit in the bank that he was doing this with a 4th-tier outfit.
He absolutely did have a lot of credit in the bank. Look, but of course, we all know that Potso, we're in a situation where Potso will do what he wants.
Yeah.
So he won't listen to me. He won't listen to Rich. He won't listen to you. Won't listen to any of us. So, but I guess he has probably got the next unknown Spanish or Italian-speaking punter already teed up to do it at the international break. And look, we'll enter the spin cycle again. But I think it's a little bit depressing. Another manager. Yes, another manager. The other thing I wanted to say, Pete, just before I disappear, actually, is
I need before you go on to the other one. You said I'm going to give you 4 examples, and we went backwards in time with each one. We went from 2015, and we went to 2005, and then we went to 1979. I want to know if there was one before 1979 that we have an example of.
I don't actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and Ken Furphy or something like that, and my head was just going to explode.
Well, it would probably be George Kirby, and he was rubbish, so he deserves to be sacked.
George Kirby always gets a laugh on Do Not Scratch Your Eyes, and that's just for Carl. He knows why. Go on, sir. Where were you going with it then?
I just wanted to say one other thing, and that is, Dr. Hat on, which I don't usually wear very much anymore. Chak Vidadze, in his first injury, the club released that little video of him on a kind of light treadmill being supported and running. Yep. And I was kind of watching that and thinking, I hope this video was taken like 6 weeks ago, because if that was taken last week, then he's some way away from putting a Watford shirt back on, because he's got to run properly without support. then he's got to, get out there on the grass and
start striking a ball.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, exactly. And then running around and twisting, etc. And then he's got to play for your practice matches. Then he's got to get match fit. Then he's got to, come back. I really, really fear that we won't see Jack back until after Christmas. I watched that and I thought he is miles off it. He's miles off it, guys. So, look, I'm retired, right? My medical training could have gone out the window and I could be forgetting everything. But I look at that and I think, feet and ankles are very, very complex because, every time you put your foot down, the whole of the weight of your body is on your foot. And there's a lot to support. There's a lot of ligaments in there. There's a lot of shit that can go wrong. And when it goes wrong, it takes a long time to get right. So, I don't know. I'm getting a bit miserable. I'm getting like Rich now. I'm getting a bit.
This is no. What do you mean I'm getting miserable? I'm getting like Rich. Rich is a hoot. Richard, I'm always.
He's a lovely guy. I usually agree with virtually everything he says. Actually, so yeah.
No. Well, no. This is it's an interesting one you say because it was actually about 7 weeks ago when we had the first game of the season against Charlton, and if people will remember. Wendover Horn came on here, and actually he was sat next to Rich because they both go around together. One balancing out the positive with the negative with the other, but whatever. And they sat there and spoke to one of the physiotherapists who went, "No, we don't. We still haven't got the full diagnosis. We still don't know what's happening. He could be out for months." And then immediately started off with the club putting out things saying he will, back in September. And it was like, well, no, he's going to be going on a no impact treatment, of course, for 6 weeks, whilst obviously trying to stay conditioned and what have you. And then it will begin. And it was almost like, look, if he's out for a while and you think he's out for a while, look, we've got trained people with medical training. Let's face it, Dr. Dicky Sutton, head of Dnsye Medical. I mean, it's news to him. I've just appointed him, but that's not the point. And some people came back out and started having a go and going, "Oh no, you're wrong. He's got this. He's got that." It doesn't matter. This is just a conversation that was reported. It looks like he might be out. We know what a bonus he can be, and you're right. And it's one of the things that's been said. And ironically, Wendover in another conversation that I had with him said, "Doesn't Petzolano deserve the opportunity to play with the full squad? He hasn't played with Czech, and at the time he'd hardly had loser because of a 3-match ban. So a little bit of patience, and that's fine. The important thing is." For whoever and whatever, have a bit of patience around what other people's opinions are. Have yours. Don't have to change them if you don't want to, but don't be upset and alarmed that somebody might have said something that you disagree with. That's okay. That's okay. We can talk about this because it's Watford and it's football, and it is the most important of all the unimportant things. It's something that it's something we love. I've had a longer relationship with Watford than I have with my wife. Some would say a better relationship than I've had with my wife. Probably my wife.
Don't go there. That's very, very dangerous. I think the other challenge that Czech's going to have is that when he does come back, he sets foot on a pitch.
Yeah.
The football boots these days, they're not like when you and I used to play. They used to be sturdy things. They are so flimsy. It's just going to take one person. You see it so many times on a live game where someone treads on someone's foot. If that happens to this damaged foot that he's got, I mean, he's going to be scared of that. It's just I can't. Dear me.
There you go. There we go, sir. I'm going to give you that. Wonderful stuff. Was it cliche ridden? I don't know. I'm not sure if it was cliched enough. I'm still putting Rich in charge of cliches, but Dr. Dicky Sutton, sir, we look forward to seeing you, especially if you're back over next week. Obviously the Oxford game at home, but we've got Portsmouth to worry about in the meantime. Let's get across to Mr. Mike Duffy, find out if Mike's in the borough of Watford or if he's in the hometown of Lincoln. Mike, are you there, sir? Are you still there, or have you gone off and read a medical dictionary after me and Dicky?
I am here. How are you doing, Pete? Okay.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How's you? All married up and everything now? Is it? Are you now just living in domestic, bliss? And is everything wonderful and rosy in the garden?
Domestic bliss, no, because I still spend my weekends watching Watford. So it's tough. But no, do you know what, Pete? You were on about cliches.
Yes,
I've
please.
Got to talk you about Semedo in that first half, and probably a large majority of the team couldn't find their arse with both hands.
Oh, that's
so
strong.
If you want that cliche, you're more than welcome to it.
I'm very pleased to have it. I will accept all comers. Excellent.
No, I think, look, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, the first Debbie Downer of the call, but I think today's papered over the cracks, to be quite honest. I am, of course, very happy that my team got 3 points, because
Good.
I will take 3 points in this league, no matter how they come, whether it's deserved, undeserved, whatever. I think the fact that Hull was so poor in that second half, if I was a Hull fan, I would be absolutely fuming, and I would be scratching my head as to how we've come
You
away.
lost it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but I suppose it's just giving him another game, really. And again, not to sort of be put a damper on things, but it means nothing if we don't then follow it up on Tuesday night and put in a performance against Portsmouth, because these are the type of games where these foreign managers don't understand in the Championship. We are going to have to sort of roll our sleeves up and pull our socks up. And it's probably not going to be pretty at Fratton Park, but it's about how you get the result. And my worry is that these foreign managers that come over, yes, his CV is a very impressive one, but he doesn't know about Tuesday night under the lights at Fratton Park, does he? So it's all well and good that we've won today. And of course, like I said, I'm happy, but let's see what happens on Tuesday. But I think if we don't get a result, I think he'd be a very, very lucky man to see out the international break. But then again, he's Pozzo's man, isn't he? And Pozzo wants what he gets. You know, Cleverly wasn't his man, and he tried to sack him before that Coventry game, and you know, he sort of shit the bed a little bit and didn't bother in the end. And maybe he's going to be a bit stubborn, and he's going to be like, well, no, this is my man, I want him, I'm going to give him a bit more time. So yeah, I don't know, I just think you can't be not playing like that team he's put out today. What on earth is that all about?
Well, my question is, and whilst we're building up a head of steam, which Mike has done excellently, professional broadcasting genius that he is, I think it's important that we just count the cliches here, because it's not just quality, it's the number. We're pulling our socks up. I like that. He comes across here, Johnny Foreigner, he doesn't know about Tuesday night down in Portsmouth. Oh, that was a subtle one. I like that very much indeed. No, you're right. I just look at it and go, and I still see nothing that convinces me that we have not built a squad for 4-2-3-1. Because if you look at the strength of the squad, we've got so much attacking talent on the bench. I just think he's going, we stay solid, and then in the last 15, 20 minutes, if we haven't got it, we'll try and push on. And he's got people to bring on. I still don't think he knows his best 11, but I think that's what he's doing. In fairness, Cleverly was, Tom Cleverly was very, no, I'd much rather have a very kind of solid thing and then open it up in the second half. I mean, there seems to be this, well, for me, an illusion of control in a football match. For me, football is, well, it's chaotic at the best of times. There are so many variables that the illusion of control of them all, it's very hard to achieve. But we just seem to have a top heavy squad, and we seem to be playing a back heavy team with it, and that seems why it feels negative. And then when we go a goal down, as we did today, everything can turn. And we were very lucky that, well, one, especially the second McBurney chance came off the post, but there were 2 or 3 other chances that could have gone in and made it a bit of a rout by half time.
Yeah, do you know what I think frustrates me as well, Pete, is how obvious it is. Like, this guy is meant to be a promotion specialist, so it would suggest that he knows a thing or two about football, or so it should suggest that. And like, I'll take it back to Monday night, for example. You've got Joe Bryan, who's what, mid to late 30s, on a yellow card.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, if only we had someone in this squad that could maybe run at him and maybe help get a second yellow and get the opposition down to 10 men. That didn't happen. Or
it didn't happen until he brought Barr on, and then and then he went, oh right, okay, take him off. In fairness, I thought Brian was
today.
I thought he was fantastic on Monday, because you're right, kind of old, gnarly, long in the tooth player. I thought he did really well. But we didn't get up and against him because, the taller of the Mendy twins, as they're now apparently called, wasn't able to get at him. The moment Barr comes on, wily old Alex Neil, off you come. Yeah, no, you're quite right.
I think the same happened today. I forget, was it Giles, the one that was at the team down the M1 last season? He picked up a yellow card, and it's like he's a fullback, and you're just thinking, just put Bar on, just let him run at him, and then unless I've completely misread, when Bar did come on, it looked like he was part of the front two with Keremgard, and it's like Bar cannot play in the front two. He has to operate out wide. I mean, not that he had bloody long enough to do what he usually does best anyway. Granted, he got kicked from pillar to post when he did come on, and I was a little bit worried because he was holding his shoulder a bit. So I'm hoping that's nothing. But
I thought that what he got given the instructions were go wherever you need to go. When you pick up the ball, run it out. He played like a running back. He didn't seem to have too much intention of necessarily, gunning in on goal, and he was picking up the ball and coming out from that, and he was just running it out. And the moment he would get attack, he would go to ground, and of course then he would also go for the shoulder again a second time. So it worked in our favour, I think. So no, I think he was. We've talked about, people will talk about cynicism or horrible things. In the same breath as that, you've got to turn around and say, well, actually, what he did was he wound the clock down by doing that. And I don't think there'll be many people on their way back to Hull who will look back on him any more fondly than the Portsmouth supporters who'll be looking forward to receiving a Bar on Wednesday. So we'll see. Indeed. So obviously you're no longer actively now doing stuff with Voices of the Vic, but having done sterling service and got the guys up to where they are. But I believe I could be wrong. Are you doing some kind of cycling podcast occasionally? Is there anything that people can hear you on? With who may have interest in cycling? Obviously, me being a fat, loathsome idiot, that's not my gig, but other people might like to hear about this.
It's not quite cycling. I've not quite hit the same levels as Ben Foster, but it's running. So yes, I now do a running podcast. So if anyone is vaguely interested and wants to hear my dulcet brummy tones,
and what's it called?
It's called Chasing the Finish. So it's on all the podcast providers, YouTube, everything. You can find us on there. So yes, thank you for I wasn't expecting to plug that this evening, so thank you, Peter.
That's all right. No, we don't mind it. We don't mind mentioning all the other podcasts, because let's face it, it's not like somebody turns around and goes, well, you know what, I don't think we've heard of any other Watford podcasts. So it's a shame, because Do Not Scratch Your Eyes is so crap. Hey, we're here. We're not going anywhere. Everybody's there. Just enjoy it, what have you. But no, this is good stuff. Because of course you've been doing running, because you've done running for charity and you've done all sorts of things. So well done, sir. Well done, sir. Excellent. Well, there we go. And what was it once was it called? Give us the name once more.
The Finish podcast.
There you go. There you go. Well, there is Mike. And indeed, in true runner's style, there goes Mike. There goes Mike. Lovely stuff. There he goes. Right, let's get to Mr. Fincham, because I want to get Mr. Fincham on, and he's been waiting for a little while. Oh, he's gone. Pete, do request again. I can get you back in again. Where are we? John Thakanardi. I really wanted. I had such a good segue to go to Pete. I've just messed it up by talking too long. Per bleeding normal. Sorry, everybody. Right, we're going out to Dubai way. We're going out to Dubai, and Mr. John Thakanardi, all spinning wheel of doom. Who knows? We might get there. John, sir, are you there? John, hit your mic button down the bottom left, and you should be able to talk to us. Justin, I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything?
I cannot, sir. No. I'm not sure what's going on. It's gone a bit squirrely.
It's gone a bit squirrely is as squirrely does. John, come back out, and we will come back to you once you're back in again. So I'll take you up, and I'll add in Pete and see if we can get him.
Hello there.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Chasing the finish.
Chasing the finish.
Well, the good people of Helsinki will be shitting themselves.
Oh, this is good. That's not quite a cliche, but because it was way too funny. But never mind. How are you doing, sir?
Today is truly a day of Lazarus.
Do you think he's risen? Do you think Petzolano is up from the grave?
If I could take you back to 11 o'clock this morning, Hampshire Cricket Club were basically dead. They weeks ago lost the T20 final. Then last week they lost the Metrobank final, and then today. Yesterday they went from 61 for 0 for naught to basically about 150 something all out, lost to Surrey. And all Durham and Yorkshire needed to do was bat out a dull draw and everyone survives and Hampshire go down. Durham managed to capitulate this afternoon to something like 86 all out, meaning
well done, Durham.
The most improbable, I mean, genuinely Lazarus-esque in every extreme. Never, ever think that sport is anything other than a collection of individuals who are on the verge of being shit at any time.
Right. Yeah, Justin, record that, translate it into Latin, and that's our new motto from now on. A collection of individuals who were shit at any given moment.
Shitters expect us. I mean, it was truly crazy what happened in cricket. The reason for bringing it up is obviously, it's here on the South Coast, it's always sunny and it's always therefore summer. But we really got out of it and it was quite staggering. So then forward to 4 o'clock and at half time, and I'm sitting there with a good friend watching intermittent coverage through semi-legal means. And there was no hope in the room. Genuinely, it was awful. And I was at Millwall on Monday night. A truly awful display. And if anything summed up why this guy shouldn't be manager of our club, it was the performance, because he simply had no understanding of what going to the Den on a Monday night meant. And I fear my local game on Wednesday will be similar because, they've not forgotten about Bar, but also they are shit. Portsmouth are dreadful this season, unbelievably bad. And yet they will beat us because they will hate us more than we hate them.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
And it comes as a great concern that year after year, in the same way as Hampshire's batting decline the last 5 or 6 years has been marked and consistent, is our ability to adapt to the teams in front of us. And put today aside for one moment, because Hull are truly an abysmal side. But we've learned nothing, and the buffoon at the top who sat in front of us Monday night, well fed, well watered, and utterly immoved at the procession of nonsense in front of him, will not change. But that means we'll go for another manager probably in 3-4 weeks or something like that.
International
and keep
break,
on doing it. And we still will not learn that we need to get a hard-ass manager who understands the Championship, not the Championship second tier of some Hispanic-speaking country, because we've seen what goes on in those leagues. They're playing in front of 300-400 people in some instances, and the same way as you see the Kerengard greatest hits video, he's playing in front of a fairground at one point.
Yeah, bouncy castles have been seen in the background of Swedish football.
Bonkers. You want a McBurney, a dirty, nasty Welshman who basically hates the world, and he therefore will die for you. You want a manager who understands that actually lining up 2 growly 6-footers in the centre of defence is going to beat the teams that come to your place. And you want someone who basically understands the simple things. And every time we've got promoted out of this league, we've done it the simple way. We've left backs who've got a left foot, right backs who've got a right foot. We're not having a 4-2-3. It's basically 4-4-2, 4-3-3, those kind of staples of getting out of this league. The game hasn't changed that much. And I fear for it. But I don't really want to reflect on it. There's plenty of other words. It's good to hear people like Dicky on here today, and glad you're doing well, son. Son, he's older than me, mate.
That's all right. Condescension is ageless. You can go for all of that. He'll enjoy that nonetheless.
I never mean to condescend. Patronise sometimes, yes, but no. I genuinely think today could be, it's an aberration. It's because we were still pretty awful. The film One Jimmy Grimble, where it's like, give it to Gordon, give it to Gordon. It's like that we lose it. He has to have everything. Everything has to go through him. And so when we missed him for a few games, then we were utterly useless. They are so conditioned around giving it to Gordon in the sense that they don't know what to do when he's not there, and that bothers me a great deal because he's not the answer. He's a very good player, but he's not going to get us promoted single-handedly. And you got to wonder what Kerengard, who he's set with, in order that he's not getting a start, because Semedo, he had a decent second half, but his performance against Millwall was atrocious, absolutely atrocious.
He touched the ball once in the penalty area for Millwall in the time that he was on the park, and his first half today wasn't there. Fair play to him though for coming back and, as you say, putting in a decent second half. So
but even Gary Fitzgerald managed to do a few things, you know. And let's, you know, but we are talking. He's only 18 years old. He should be on loan at Leyton Orient, something like that, learning his trade. You know, we've had these aberrations. We've had Tony Abiemo, who, you know, he's not going to get there, challenge the first team again. No, he's not. There's an awful lot of them. You know, Jack Greaves has been and gone yet again. They're not. We in order to survive and then move on, we have to get some dirty experience in that team, and that starts on the bench with a manager who understands the league he's playing in.
Well, Ian Hiles has put a comment in the comments, really, thinking about it, that's what it's called. And he's put, Watford need to go back with humble pie and speak with Sean Dyche and offer him a challenge to get us promoted. If Sean Dyche and Gino Pozzo could get past their own individual issues about them kind of being sacked or what have you, what would you say to a Sean Dyche at Vicarage Road? Would he be would he be enough in the sort of hairy-arsed Welshman style camp for you?
Peter, 2 years ago, I penned a tune that started with Sean Dyche, and it was all about the managers that have been since Sean Dyche, and it was a lament to the absence of Sean Dyche. It wasn't my finest hour, but you know, the high notes they fail me in recent years.
Wow.
But I do think it would be magnificent. Knowing people who know Sean well enough, I can't imagine he would ever have the appetite to do anything with that man again. That man being Gino Pozzo.
No. Yeah.
He's not interested in the slightest. It would be a great day if he came back and would be given 18 months to get his promotion, but it will not happen.
Fair enough. Before we let you go, sir, many people will know that Pete does a lot of work with a charity called Deborah. Now, I believe is it your other half who's doing a run to raise money?
The good lady wife. Yes, we'll be doing the Great South in about 3 weeks' time. She'll be treading the mean streets of Portsmouth. It's a healthy 10-miler. Yes.
Excellent stuff. Well, look, what we're going to do is we'll get and we asked for this the other day, just to let everybody know, when we had Chris from Millwall, who was raising money for cancer, another great cause. And you know, look, if this platform does any good, and let's face it, it really doesn't, but you know, we'll pretend it will for the moment of this. It's just to try to highlight that up, you know, within the community, what's going on. And, you know, I mean, you know, Pete's gone, you know, yeah, excellent. Yeah, of course you can go out there and run 10 miles for it. Absolutely. For a great charity. We'll get the link and put it up on our socials. If you can help at all, anybody who knows Pete, a Watford supporter of fine standing, and
that's really kind of you.
And he's making his wife run for him, which I think is a very encouraging thing.
Just on that matter, I did a speech a couple of weeks ago with my middle daughter Grace, who many of you know from this parish. And we did it at Royal Birkdale, a truly fine golf course. And we were lucky enough to have Kenny Dalglish and Alan Hansen there. And the whole dinner with Alan, we were sat with him, we were talking about the Watford-Liverpool games in the 80s. It was joyous. Talking about Martin Patchin's goal at the end of the 82-83 season, how they remembered it. And it, you know, it was just one of those memorable evenings where saw the charity. This is just great.
Well done. That's Pete rolling down the moral high ground. Well done. Well,
thank you for the plug.
No, we will put that in, and it will be a pleasure. The game of which he's talking about there was when we finished second in the top flight in our first ever season in the top flight, and it's sort of famous because Liverpool had already won it. If I remember, I think they were going off to play a European Cup final, what have you. They lost to us 2-1. Man United lost, so we finished second. And famously, they were sort of basically kind of knocking around, and they wherever they were going to be going afterwards. And in the end, Graham Taylor sent out for about 60 portions of fish and chips, and they all basically sat in at Vicarage Road, the Liverpool and the Watford team, having a right old time at the end of the season. I mean, come on, legends, every single one of them. Right, there's Pete there. I'm going to be putting out basically his other half's details. She's running. Anybody who knows about Freddie, anybody who knows about Grace, and all of the stuff that Pete and his family have gone through, have dealt with, and are now busy trying to raise awareness and help for this, a thing that affects people. And we'll put it out there. If you can help, fantastic. If you can't, raising awareness always helps. Let's get back out to John Thakanardi. Going to speed through these, and then going to get on to 5-word reviews, because let's face it, you guys have all got things to do, like go out and celebrate 3 points. John, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Triumph, we're back there. I'm all right, sir. How's everything
Good.
Where you are?
Good, yeah, we're very good where we
Excellent.
are. It's just it's very hot. It's getting a bit cooler, so that's very nice. Very nice anyway.
Our heart bleeds for you there. It's getting cooler in Dubai, everybody. Well. That's another charity event we'll be raising money for. Never mind.
Yeah.
So how did it seem from the east?
Well, I mean, I think like a lot of people have said, when you looked at the team sheet or looked at the subs bench, it was notable by who was on there versus who was on the team sheet. So that was a little bit surprising. But then I thought actually the first 15-20 minutes there was life there. I thought it looked positive, and then they scored. And then after that it was kind of, it didn't really make a lot of sense what I was seeing in front of me. But then the second half was a totally different story. And so great to see Loser scoring, I think. Yep. And great to see Semedo score his goal, and vice versa when they assisted and scored as well. So I think when I looked at the stats, actually that we had like double the amount of shots on target that Hull did. So I don't think that I think that kind of says something. That's a good thing. In the sense that
let's get to the stats. Let's have a look at this. Overall possession 55.7% we had. On Monday we had 61 possession and didn't do very much. Today total shots 21 against 11 from Hull. 8 on target, 4 from Hull. So I mean, we're sitting there saying lucky, but as you say, statistically that's fair enough. Total touches inside the opposition box, they had 16 to our 7. So perhaps we were more incisive. I'm not sure about clinical. I'm not sure, but I'll see you. I'll see you incisive. And 6 corners each. And no. So
I don't look at that and think it was. I don't think we got away with one, but by any means. I think we probably actually deserve to win that. Whether we would win against other, better teams, I don't know. I mean, sort of the data speaks for itself. But the last few weeks of, you've seen how other teams play and how we can't necessarily break them down and score, win those games. So I don't know. I don't think we're in a position to really challenge for much. I think the way it's going, it's probably going to be mid-table. Sorry, but I think for me as a Watford fan, I feel very conflicted now, because I'm getting to that point where I am actually thinking, right, pull the trigger on this guy, pull the trigger. And I know better than that, I know better than that. I know you need to give people time. And I know you need to,
we've been having this sort of internalized dilemma about, well, has what Gino does and how he operates, has that sort of almost contaminated the water table? Has that become part of our cultural identity? Have we internalized it? And of course we have, because you look to hold the owner to account, because he turns around and says, I'm firing you because you basically haven't had enough points. So how can we judge Gino in any other way than based upon his past performance? And therefore, when you've had a manager who, hasn't looked, I mean, I'd still maintain, I think we've got a result here in spite of what's been done from the tactical side of it. I don't think there was any great tactical insight here today. I felt like the players rolled up their sleeves and got on with it, and fair play to Semedo, he's got his goal. But that's fine. We weren't all killing each other, kind of on against Millwall when we had more possession but did nothing with it. But as you say, we would look at it and go, after 60 minutes, it felt like it was going only one way, but after 90, it's there. On that balance, is it? Well, no, because the chronology doesn't matter, but the stats in this particular instance show why at the end we've taken more chances, we've had more touches in the box, and we've seen it. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's a fine thing, but it's just we're just here to discuss it all and see what we think.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. And no, I do hope him, wish him success. I hope he does. Is able to kick on and help, I suppose, propel us to success. But at the same time, I can't. I think someone else mentioned earlier, if would you want Sean Dyche? Yeah, I would love Sean Dyche because I think he'd be a fantastic manager. But at the same time, Sean Dyche will probably go through 7 or 8 losses at one point, and then he'll just get fired. So what's the point of that?
No, absolutely. It's a question. It's a question of saying, is the culture that no, you're not able to suffer that, and every time we do that, we rotate. And don't forget the reason why he does that. The reason why they do that is because within the Pozzo ethos, the manager or the head coach, as it's called, he is there to coach the team. That's his exclusive job. That's what he's there to do. It's not Graham Taylor's position that we're talking about, where he ran the club and he made strategic decisions. No, he gets given players and he builds the team, and therefore he is sort of, relatively speaking, he's a functionary. He is not the beating heart of the club as we remember, and as in England or in Britain, we tend to think of it as a manager and being its one man's vision. This isn't the case, and if it is, it's Gino's vision. It's not the manager. So I think we need to look at that and go, well, do we take that on board or don't we? And some of us think, well, that's what he's going to do, so we think this is going to happen, and you're almost anticipating it. And other people will go, no, damn it, you've got to support him. Otherwise, what chance has the bloke got? Because everybody, exactly as you said, Sean Dyche is going to lose. He's going to concede 6 games at some point, and what, you're going to do that then as well? That's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting one. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Well, are you going to be? I always ask this of our overseas callers, because we're nothing, but if we're nothing but hopefully with the internet and everything, it helps fans of Watford from overseas stay in touch with the club, but also us, the supporter community. I mean, that's a nice thing. What are the chances of? I can't remember. Did you say you or the other half might be getting back around kind of Christmas time?
Yeah. We'll definitely come. I think we'll probably the fixtures haven't worked out so nicely this time, have they? I think we've only got one on the 20th. At home to Stoke, so we'll be back for that, I think, hopefully. So yes, that'll be the one.
Oh well, don't tell Justin. Justin hates everything that's football wise around Christmas, because he just basically wants. There you go. There you are. I don't even need a Justin sound effect. I've got a Justin, which is infinitely less realistic, but you can't have everything. There we go. There's John in Dubai. Let's go to John in closer proximity. Let's get on Mr. John Parslow and see if we can get it. Spinning Wheel of Doom, who knows? And then we're going to be coming to Danny and Adam, and then we'll come to Nelly, but we'll have to be moving forward because, believe it or not, Justin and I and Carl have got somewhere that we've got to go this evening. So we're going to be trying to wrap this up by around 7 o'clock, ideally. It's got Spinning Wheel of Doom, John. Spinning Wheel of Doom. That's not working. Let's try Danny. Let's see if we've got Danny and Becky in the car. Let's give that a go. Oh, Danny's playing ball. Hello. I like this. Danny, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good. I'm all right. You sound like you're actually moving. Now, bearing in mind, I reckon you normally stop for a bit of food. I reckon you're still somewhere near the Watford. Yeah, I'd say maybe the M25.
We are just coming past a certain town that I won't mention.
I wasn't far away. He is in Mordor, which is, as we know, twinned with the place where he's going past. There we go. Oh well. It's been a funny old few weeks. It's been a funny start to the season. Lots of enthusiasm about the squad, less enthusiastic about the manager, but he's got a result today. What did you make of everything? And how's Becky? Hello, Becky, by the way.
Hello.
There you go. I even waved to you on screen. I don't know why I do that.
I'm still, even though we won, I still feel deflated.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, I mean, we won that game despite the manager. I mean,
I'm with you.
I mean, the team section again was just baffling. Waits till 80 odd minutes to bring Bauer on, and it was just all confusing. But Imran Loser and Imran Irikunda, they've pretty much won us the game today. I know Irikunda didn't score, but in that first half, he was our only player trying to do the thing. Loser just oozes class. And let's credit Semedo. Semedo, he's got goal and assist. He's had his faults this season. Monday he was poor, but today he's got goal and assist, and as a striker, that's all you can ask for. So, still, it's a weird feeling, winning and not feeling ecstatic about it. But if you win, got to get a result on Wednesday, and then who knows? But still a bit of a strange feeling.
The thing is, on 60 minutes, if somebody offered you 2-1, you'd snatch their hand off, obviously. But I do understand. I understand what you mean. But I do think, credit to Semedo, we've often talked about this team or this club or the squad who we've had over the last years as not really showing much character. And I think the way to look at this today, and I agree with you. I don't think this had, personally, I still haven't seen enough of Pezzolano doing something positively, and knowing things, a few things. I think it's been done in spite of him. It doesn't matter that. The players today showed character, and Pezzolano was in charge, so fair enough. He gets a few more goes at it, and maybe he can turn it around. Maybe it can be that Man United Norwich game that we were talking about earlier on, or Notts Forest, whoever it was, that turned that career at that club around. Maybe it will do. I doubt it will do, because he's on a 1-year contract. They don't Watford managers don't tend to have the level of destiny and dynasty. That's the word I'm looking for. Building that Alex Ferguson had, but it was an odd one. But we'll take the points. Look into Portsmouth, kind of an odd animal. Had a great kind of performance and at Southampton, obviously, which is a big one for them. And then they kind of seem to have fallen away. So they've kind of ebbed and flowed a bit this season. What are your thoughts on that? And obviously the inevitable bit with Bar going back. And the final question part of that is, will you be in Fratton Park?
I will be at Fratton Park. Me and the dad, my brother will be there. Becky's not; she's got to work. So it's these games are like your typical championship games. I think I can't remember what call it was a few calls ago. He said, does he know? I mean, it's going to be similar to the Mill game. Wednesday night away at a ground so close to the pitch. Loud fans. Is he going to be cautious like he did? I mean, Monday was over cautious. Playing 6 defenders. I mean, you'd like to think he would. The likes of I think Pollock could probably play, because you need that. Semedo, I think, definitely deserves another start. He's got goal assist today, so I think he'll start. I've got to see. You've got to be seeing Caleb Wiley play now. I thought he was really, when he came on today, he was really good.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, HJ has said in. And
quick question. Also, do you know what's happened to? Sorry, Pete. Do you know what's happened to Abankwah? Where's he's just not playing? What's happened to him?
My understanding, which he doesn't fancy Abankwah. He thinks he's got too many mistakes in him, is what I've been told. So I was told that a few weeks ago, and he's not played much since. I really like Abankwah. I think he looks good carrying the ball out from the back on occasions. But of course, if you do that, sometimes you'll give the ball away and it might hurt us, and that might be something that he doesn't want. For some reason, there are certain players that he seems to take against. And that's one of them. Let me just read you this, because HJ has made a comment, and I like HJ. I'm more than happy. Thank you very much for people going, no, I disagree with you on that. He said, or HJ said, I get that Hull were poor and first half awful. I didn't think Hull were poor. I thought they tied, but that's fine. But I honestly think it's disrespectful, he says, to say Paulo had no contribution with the win. He picked Semedo. He got the win. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a valid point. It's a valid point. But again, we're having this discussion and we're still finding negatives. I mean, that just shows the kind of you know, the negative stuff around Paolo, you know, because we've won the game, but you ask many Watford fans that they're probably not overly happy with the way we've won. You know, there's a way to win this game. Yes, 3 points is the most important thing, but, you know, I think he's under pressure now. I think before he needed a performance, and yes, the last half an hour he got a performance, but, you know, if he'd have picked the team that ended the game in the first half, I think, you know, we wouldn't be having this discussion. So it's all about, you know, how you start. You know, I'm a coach. You know, I like when I'm coaching my lads. I say to them every week, start fast, hurt the team early doors, and then we can see what happens in the second half. You got to start games on the front foot. Otherwise, you know, we're lucky today. The Hull were very poor second half. We were very fortunate.
They just seemed to run out of legs. And in fairness, I thought they were very impressive first half because they were shutting us down all over the park and really kind of lessening losers' impact. There was a really interesting one in the first half, and obviously it had been going away from you in the rookery, but towards me in the family stand, where we'd managed to get finally through part of this bit. Loser was carrying the ball, and it was on his left and running to his right, and he'd opened up a really nice channel with Semedo, and he didn't take it. He chose not to take it. Instead, he played in Iran Kunda down the left, which is a much more difficult ball, far less in it. I don't think, frankly, in that moment, in that game, I don't think Iran Kunda trusted Semedo at that point because he took the strong stranger option. They kind of did their little thing and they nearly sort of got something, but it didn't quite work out. I think, in fairness to Semedo and HJ's point there, as we were saying, the character that he's shown, the fact that he didn't wilt under that, and you can only show character when you're under pressure. You know, if you're having you know, if everybody's lacing daisies into each other's hair and we're scoring goals with abandon, you don't build character. Then you build character when you're up against it, and he's done so. Maybe next time he'll take the pass to him and go on, then give it a go. If you remember in that first half, the time before this, when we set it up, the ball had been played across from Loser, and he made an absolute cods of it. Semedo, he got a touch, it went under his foot. He took another touch, and he got shut down. The problem is with experience is you get it after you needed it in the first place. Maybe he's going through a developmental learning curve because he's a young player. Maybe that'll help him out in the long run. And you would start with him against Portsmouth.
100%. I mean, he's contributed to the win today. He's got a goal and got an assist. So, you know, you can't drop him after that because, you know, it'll just knock his confidence again. It's going to be actually interesting what midfield I think he picks Wednesday, because I think Kiembe has his thoughts, but I actually thought he did all right today. Kiembe. Kiembe's always going to split opinions. I've always liked what Kiembe does. You know, there is games where he's, you know, he gives the ball away a lot. You know, Southampton a few weeks ago, I thought he was very poor. But on Monday, as poor the team was when we brought Kiembe on, Kiembe,
he lifted it.
He did lift it, and today I thought it was all right. You know, will he stick with him? You know, will he bring Musa back in? I don't know, but I think Kiprianu, I'd like to see him back in. You know, bit of a baffling decision for him to be dropped. But then again, you know, 3 games of the week, he's still looking like he needs to rotate the squad a little bit. You know, midfield, we've got a lot of depth in there now. So
it's an interesting one because, and I appreciate everybody go, oh yeah, of course you do. I found out earlier on in the week that the provisional squad had Hector Kiprianu on the bench and Semedo starting. And frankly, I was baffled by that because Millwall wasn't good. But as HJ has said, he stuck with him. He's seen something and he's got the goal. So fair play. And you're right. If that's disrespectful, I'll take that on the hat. I've got no problem with that. And I looked at it and then looked at it and thought, okay, if it's a game that he's deciding he's going to rest, he's going to rest Kiprianu. Is he doing that because he's played too many games? Because I've got been told, well, you know, kind of medical think he's played too many games, and he's played all the games for Watford basically. However, in September, he's played 2 games. That's all he's played because he went away with Cyprus for the international break, but he was on the bench for 1 game, didn't come on. He wasn't even in the squad for the other, and yet we're resting him on the Saturday. After we've had a game on a Monday, the previous game wasn't before a Saturday, and then there was 2 weeks off basically before that. It seemed I would have imagined that they might have decided that they might rest him for the Portsmouth game, therefore making him fresh for both Saturday games. Maybe he's thinking, and I don't know, maybe he's thinking, you know what, Portsmouth game, we're going to need to have some, you know, kind of height and some presence, and he might fit that pattern a little bit better. For me, Nampolis Mendy was the disappointing one of the three in the midfield today. I thought Loser did well, and I thought Kembe did okay. I would see him in for that, and it would give us an extra little bit of hype, which maybe he thought we just didn't need today. And if we've got away with it, who knows? He could well be right. So
yeah, I mean, look, Pete, we've got the 3 points. That's all that matters. But not a good performance. But who cares? Let's roll on Wednesday, see if we can get another 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how we go. There we go. Danny, Becky, have a safe journey back, and Danny and Dad, make sure you're you're crying out for Watford come Wednesday down at Fratton Park. Lovely stuff. Have a good journey back. Let's get across to the US and speak to Adam. See if he's with us still. Who knows? Who knows what things are working on Twitter? Adam, are you there, sir?
I'm here. How are you?
Wonderful victory. We're 3 points better than we were at 3 o'clock, but we're still trying to kind of fathom out in terms of the performances. But I think some people are seeing some positives, and some people were seeing green shoots in the second half. I've been called to task, and quite rightly, for turning around and saying, "Well, hold on, give the manager credit if you take it. Especially if you, as I do, I didn't think he did anything on Monday that did anything whatsoever, and we didn't get the result there. If I can call that out, then give him some credit here. But I think it's a little bit more nuanced than win good, lose bad. I think it's we can have a little bit of a look and a discussion about these things. But how did you things today?
Well, when I saw the lineup, I just kind of stared in disbelief, because I've been talking to other people during the week and saying, got to play Bar, got to play Vada, got to, put round pegs in round holes, I wanted to say.
Yep.
And I looked at the team, and there you go. Pollock's on the left again. You got Jeremy and Ngakia on the left, and Petrus on the right. And I'm like, but Wiley's fit, so why wouldn't you start with Wiley and put Ngakia on the left? I'm not saying Petrus had a bad game. He didn't do too badly. I mean, Ngakia didn't do too badly, but he's clearly right-footed, and he likes to play on the right side.
Mm-hmm. Well, my understanding is that after a few seasons, I believe the medical team at Watford are basically telling people what times they can and they can't come on. It was really interesting that Wiley came on literally on 60 minutes. He was told, but it appeared was he's got half an hour. We're really trying to manage, and I can understand why. I'm not moaning about it, but there seems to be some sort of a method to go with the madness, which is this is the red zone that he's in, or the fatigue, or how much he's done, and the same way with having a look at Kyprianou, saying, well, over the course of but since the start of August he's had this many games and everything, so he can rest and what have you. It seems to be managing that way. I suspect he's been told he can have a half an hour, and that's that. Maybe now what we will see is him, after half an hour. Well, if you're playing 45 minutes, you're starting to get to some there with everything about it. So there you go. One of those. But yeah, I think hopefully he will come back in. I think what we've seen of Bola has been that he's been sort of solid-ish. I didn't think Monday was a very good game, but I think he struggles looking forward. And if you're going to play with wing backs, and your wing backs are foremost Mendy and Bola, you're going to struggle. You're going to get more out of having Wiley down there interacting with people, because he's a better technical footballer in my personal view. Maybe not a better defender, but better going forward.
I did like that little nutmeg that Petrus put on today. Did you see that?
It was nice, wasn't it? It was not. He really built in the second half, as as Hull kind of declined or dipped, or their fitness kind of fell away a little bit, or their running kind of dropped off a bit. We came on. He really seemed to go, yeah, okay, I'm coming on to this after a fairly. I mean, it was a difficult game the other day against Blackburn, because we were in blue. It all felt rather surreal, and nobody was playing particularly well for his debut. But today, let's hope that's a bit more of that we're going to see of him, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Kiramgard, though, that was a bit of an enigma. He came on, he had a couple of great opportunities, ball at his feet, and honestly reminded me of Rajovic, to be honest.
Yeah, he fluffed his lines in the same way that Semedo did in the first half with that chance that I just mentioned there. I think he kind of got it under his feet and didn't quite get it out. There was a couple of interactions with Musa Sissoko, which looked promising, but didn't end up kind of giving us anything. But I don't. It's a hard one because playing that role up front, and I appreciate he's not playing it as a lone striker because. With both of those players, Iran Kunda won more headers than anybody, and he's about 5'2". But it's so much of it is playing with your back to goal and being strong and getting conditioned to it. And I thought we were starting to see something from Kieran Gard, who was kind of almost starting to get used to the Championship and maybe getting himself kind of understanding what he needed. And maybe now, I'm not saying for certain, who knows, maybe Semedo, we're seeing something, he's learned in the last, from Monday and the first half today, and he's improved what he was doing. And he had that back to goal moment when he kind of was retaining the ball, fed loser, and there you go, we're 1-1, and suddenly the game, the whole game, the seesaw literally tips the other way. So, yeah, maybe it was is he an enigma? He's an odd one because if you do watch, and Pete was talking about this earlier on, if you do watch his goals when he was playing for Dnsye or playing in Scandinavia, they're not goals that you would necessarily think are, well, he's 6'5" and he's blowing a hole in everything. He just tends to be in the right place. So it's almost that his height and scale seem to be almost coincidental. So
I do think he's better than Rajovic, by the way. He just you've got to play to his strengths. He does hold the ball up, and he's quite strong, I think.
Well, Rajovic was a one-trick pony, but it was a very good trick. If you can do the most difficult thing in the game, which is stick it in the back of the net in the congested area that is the penalty box, that's not nothing. The problem is that so little of the game is played in that area that for so long he becomes a passenger. I think there were long periods on Monday that Semedo was a passenger. I thought the first half, I thought he was worse than a passenger. And then the second half, I thought he was, you saw somebody going, it was almost like hearing a penny dropping and somebody kind of starting off. We've got to hope that is not, the one swallow does not make a summer. Got to hope that he's kind of built it. But he went off that pitch when he did go with a generous applause, and he was applauding everybody back, and he would have been going an assist and a goal. That's a good day's work for a striker, and I think he'll hopefully build. We are in danger of looking at the now and going, oh God, we haven't got an Ollie McBurney, and I think there is a big difference in the now. But in a year's time, we could end up with 3 strikers because, of course, there is Dumbia who's got credit in the bank for how much he worked. We could have 3 very, very decent strikers. I appreciate I'm kind of papering over this season already, which isn't right. But from a development perspective, they could be really, really something in a year's time. Those 3 to be pushing one another, hopefully for the number 9 jersey position.
Couple of other things before let me go. Did you notice that Paolo went straight down the tunnel after the game ended? He didn't come over to the fans. He was, literally, you could see it on the TV. He just bombed down there.
I was looking out for him because I always stay just to see sort of who comes over, as much as anything, because I judge players often on whether or not they will come and applaud the fans or if they'll disappear. I didn't see him, so no, I didn't spot that he'd gone down. So he went straight off.
And maybe there's been so much talk on social media about people wanting him out, and I know it's I wouldn't say it's a majority, but it's the majority on social media that are just basically saying the guy hasn't got a clue, blah blah blah, and he'll be gone. And I honestly thought after today's game he might well have been gone, especially when Hull scored. Same old story. They take a 1-0 lead and we just don't look like scoring, but that didn't happen today.
That's fair enough.
So it was pleasing. Second thing I wanted to tell you is, I told you I'm coming over at Christmas.
Yes.
I will be here for the Stoke game.
Stoke game, everybody. Anybody who's international, we're now making Stoke game an international game. Come on. That's more than we need.
No hospitality this time. I'm coming sit in the rookery.
Oh, really? You're not going to be in the prawn sandwich group brigade? What a
No.
nightmare.
I'm bringing my wife. She's a big football fan. She grew up in Germany and she supported Frankfurt or something. But
Fantastic.
no, Hertha Berlin. I'm sorry.
Oh,
But
blimey! You nearly got in trouble there. Good save, by
yeah,
the way.
yeah. She would go with her dad to Bundesliga games as a kid. So she's coming.
Oh.
It will be her first. It will be her first Watford game. So that will be something.
I have to say,
cool.
I love watching the Bundesliga highlights. Here we got an hour's highlights package on Sky, and it's really, really good to watch. I have to say, and the crowds are just mental. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Well, we look forward to seeing both yourself, Adam, and the good lady wife in around Christmas. And Stoke's going to be a bundle of fun. I've got to find out when Jimmy Pesto, Chris Giannone, and Nick are going to get over as well. Because let's face it, we may have people from the States and all over the park. That'll be great stuff. Lovely stuff. Thank you very much, Adam. Just going to come to Nelly. Just a couple of comments quickly on here. Jay says, good performance from Semedo today. However, I still think he needs to prove that he's a starter. He showed that he can be very lazy in other games. Fair enough. And HJ comes back. HJ, there's no need to worry about. Don't worry. I don't take anything personally on this. If you want to have a go at me, trust me, I'm the one going brilliant. But said 100%, lots of questions of the manager. And when the team was announced, was pretty shocked. But just saying, we can't say we won in spite of the manager. Not having a go. No, it's all right, mate. Don't worry about that at all. I'm Justin will tell you, I'm far more difficult to insult than that. You have to try harder. Let's finish with Nelly. Not let's finish with Nelly, but let's finish with Nelly. That's the way I'm trying to deal with this. Nelly, sir, you know the deal. Hit the mic at the bottom, sir, and let us know what you thought of a win at the Vic. So only the second this season, but much needed. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, hi Pete, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much indeed. What did you think of the win, sir?
Well, before I get to the win, half time at the Vic, that's the most toxic I can recall in a long time. There's a lot of people staring at the football table and their phones and seeing that we're actually second from the bottom.
Yeah, we were 23rd at half time.
We were indeed. And then it picked up. One of your callers earlier said, yeah, I'm really glad that we won, but I've walked away still being deflated. I've got to agree with him. I'm right there with that guy, what he said. It's an odd one, this one, Pete. As you know, I normally really start putting my brain into gear in January and February and seeing where we're going.
Yep.
You said cliches.
Oh, yes.
Talking about promotion, the way we're going at the moment, you've got about as much chance of being kicked to death by a goldfish.
I've never heard that before. Why have I never heard, Justin? Why have I never heard about goldfish kicking people to death? This is the kind. It's a very DNSYE thing indeed. I like that one. Okay, well, it was strange, but I think the important, genuinely, even if the manager ends up going at some point, or if he ends up staying and hopefully succeeding, because nobody wants to just involuntarily change the manager. Nobody takes against somebody for no apparent reason. It's important. Well, I think it's important, but you can tell me if I'm wrong, to be able to have discourse in the public forum, and social media is a public forum, and I know it can be toxic, and I know that people can look at it, and I appreciate at halftime people are looking at it going, oh Christ, we're 23rd. Well, nobody went down at halftime on the last game of the season. League tables don't really count until the end of all of the round of games, and then you can kind of see where you are and see what you need to do. So I hope we can discuss it and look at it and take the good and the bad, and almost, I suppose I'm going a bit Kipling here, but treat those two imposters just the same. It's kind of, we have to look at it, and we have lost games where we've been unlucky, and the opposition have been lucky. I think today, in some elements, we were lucky. We were lucky that Hull didn't push on. We were lucky that the Hull opportunities that they created, which were much better in the first half, weren't there. And that we managed to be let off the hook, if you will, long enough to be able to fight and claw our way into the game. That doesn't make it any less an admirable quality to have done exactly that, to have basically climbed up the rock face, every kind of uncomfortable, nasty bit of it, and worked with them to try to keep up there, and then had a couple of moments of reasonable quality, and then seen some more players come on with a bit more, not only attacking intent, but I thought when Barr came on, I thought tactically he gave us something we've never seen before. He gave us, well, I say never seen before. It was almost the kind of thing that Dnsye used to do: pick up the ball from deep and run, and just not give it away, but just take the slow down the opposition's momentum from starting, taking it, drawing a foul, going down, killing the game, doing it again, and then doing it again. And it meant he wasn't really doing his best attacking work, because a lot of the time he was having to do it in his own half. But by God, he went and did it. So look, there are positives, and that could be something. Just getting back to the conversation with HJ, that actually we can credit Petzolano with. He's used him in a different way. There are some things, as you say, of which there are lots of questions out there and about, and it was an odd one. I didn't feel it as quite as toxic, but then again, I'm in the family standard. We don't tend to do toxicity quite so much. But what else did you feel after the game?
Well, if my thinking, if you were like looking at this from a manager's point of view, you would have come away from Millwall realising that you were getting pelters left, right, and centre. Yep. You would have sat down with your staff, and before you went into Friday's team meeting, you would have gone, look at this: Hull at home, Portsmouth away, Oxford at home. Whatever way we do this, it's got to be 9 points. And that 9 points would take the pressure off everybody. Take the pressure off the manager, take the pressure off the players. So if we did, we might be having this conversation on next Saturday night, Pete, where we have got the 9 points. And then everyone will be going, panic? What panic? The only reason that the panic has come in, and I heard Wendover chat to you about it the other night, is we're at the bottom of the drop.
Well, the reason why we were talking about the results, and we talked earlier on here about talking about performances and talking about results. You can't talk about one and exclude the other. It's a bit like performances and statistics. They're conversations that have to go hand in hand rather than exclusively on their own. And again, we did that earlier on today as well. Is the fact that but where in Gino's world, the results are the absolute be all and end all. And it's not a question of, and I appreciate, we've taken this this phrase about, we want to be challenging for promotion, and that is the intention and the desire, and he's laid it sort of that's been the case prior to that. Let's face it, we've lost managers because of those things that results haven't been done, and therefore that's kind of permeated, I think, the culture that we've got at the club, and just thinking, oh, well, Gino's not going to be happy, therefore the manager's going to go, and therefore it kind of changes our expectations. I mean, Tommy, who came on, who made some comments previously, and he's done things on it, he said that's a one win-off chalked off. Going to get all the mongs on here saying manager out. Well, no, Tommy, I mean, I'm all in favour of everything other than pretty much the only thing I can't tolerate is intolerance. I don't think you need to call everybody mongs because they have a difference of opinion to you. I want to champion your opinion and say, look, you can say it here, but everybody else can say what they want. You can't sit there and turn around and say, well, I demand free speech for saying what I want, and what I want to say is that nobody else is entitled to free speech because they don't agree with me. This is about looking and saying, well, look, but people think different things. There will be people, and we're going to go through the 5 words and the long reviews in just a minute. They are going to look at games in a different way. A lot of people are looking at it and going, how the fuck did we win that game? Right? Literally, because I've literally just read that off of somebody who sent me, who I know knows the game very, very well indeed. Other people will go, well, look at the stats, because actually we've had more shots. It's the conversation that enables you to broaden not your horizon, but maybe the mindset. So I don't think we need to call people mongs, and I mean that from both sides, because I've seen it from other people saying, oh, anybody who's believing in everybody is they're stupid or they're this or they're that. The only thing I can't tolerate is intolerance of other people's views. Other than that, everybody is here to say things. HJ has come on and said, I disagree with that, and well done. I agree completely. So, throw brickbats at me if you want. I'm as fat as a rhino and I've got skin to match. That's fine. Don't have to go on about other fans. It's just not needed. Right, let's get across to our 5-word reviews, because that's something we need to do. Just before I do so, you may not have seen it in the news. There was something which was Duomo. Pierre Duomo, do you remember him? Another man with a mysterious injury. There was interest from Turkey, and there was an article. It said he basically didn't go, and he said, I'm one step away from the ultimate dream, i.e. obviously playing in the Premier League. That's what most footballers want to do. I know where the club wants me. The fact that I wasn't allowed to make a transfer this season shows that Watford still believes in me. So, he was one of those people during the window that an offer came in from, as I say, Konyaspor of Turkey. Turkey seems to be one of those evolving leagues, and it seems to have a lot of cash. Konyaspor wanted to build a team around me. They offered me a substantial salary and are aiming for Champions League spot, and that'll make anyone think twice. And he said, but I respect that the owner, Gino Pozzo, and the Watford family didn't want to let me go. I'm in a good place here in London. So that was kind of, I thought, pretty interesting. I don't know, what everybody thinks about Duomo, except for Caton. I know Caton likes him very, very much indeed. So there was one who was kept, and we'll see. Another, I think, certain project somebody will hope to see evolve over the next kind of couple of seasons or so. Now, with the sacking of Graham Potter, I have no idea whether former head of media, but now head of media at West Ham, Richard Walker, was at the game today, but he was supposed to be there as a guest, and there was a very nice thank you on the website. Now, I know people will have different opinions of everybody in their life, depending on their own individual circumstances, but we've certainly had dealings with Rich, and he's been a most solid character. Speaking of solid characters, the last one before I get to the 5 words, if anybody is watching the Ryder Cup, we have representation in a way. Gianfranco Zola is Molinari's, Francesco Molinari's, one of the vice captains for the European side. He's his buggy driver at the Ryder Cup. How does that happen? I don't know. I have no idea how that happens. Right, let's get to the 5-word reviews, which means I need to go to Twitter and stop rambling inanely. Here we go. There we go. Refresh. Let's get through some of these. Pete Hotwood. Hello, Pete. Extending to the east there with Croatia. He said, just watch the short EFL post-match chat with the gaffer and his translator. Certainly looked like and felt that he knows he's getting the boot, and his translator. Well, yeah, it wouldn't be surprised if a decision has been made to look elsewhere. But I'm not sure even we would fire somebody after a win. I'm not sure. John Parzo says, Pozzo pauses pathetic Paolo's departure. Could have drawn, should have lost that, says Gareth. Dave Lavender says that result didn't seem possible at 60 minutes. Get out of jail today. WFC Chef's Table says, nice way to say goodbye. I think coming back to Tommy's point, I think a number of people here aren't necessarily impressed with the performance of the manager per se, but we've done that one to death. Nice speaking with Selvik pre-match, says Casper Campion. Yeah, Egil Selvik was in and around the fan zone. That was fair packed today. Mark Carpenter says players get manager out of jail. Pete, we heard from him earlier on. Puts in, what the hell just happened? Remember Monday? Oh, there you go. There's a song with a Eurovision. So if you're feeling in a musical kind of way, and I know Justin is obviously feeling very musical, it's a place to go. Petris looked good and solid going forward, says Casper. Peter Joyless Jones says they don't make it easy. No, they don't. They don't do any of it. But then again, we're Watford fans. We've sort of known this for some time. Chris says he should still go, though. Peter Joyless Jones back again says Pet Solano is a genius. Soon. I'll take the win, but, says Mark of Watford and England. Absolutely. We'll get on to Badger balancing anytime soon, Mark. Mark knows what I mean. Louis Teixeira says much needed win. Good half. Casper's back again. He says, what were tactics or formation? At the end of that game, my son and I were trying to devise where people were, and the answer was all over the place practically, in spite of. says Peter Ryan. I think you know what he means. Casper Campion Baxter looks like a good backup. Yeah, he looks nice and calm. I think that's good. Don't bring Backman/Rajovic, asks Kevin Robbins. I like the fact that Kevin is basically just making sure, just in case anybody was suspecting that this might happen. I don't think there was any suggestion that it would happen, but he likes to make sure that that's Kevin, make sure that those things don't happen. Birami changed his jacket. Interesting, says Glory Hornet 15. I'm not going there. Casper Campion said, crap first half, better second. Willie Ecker's like, hello again. Said, still want him gone tonight. He survives for another week, Glory Hornet. Ryan Cripps, and I saw the Crippses with Carl and Justin there. There's even a picture there, as if anybody wants a picture of Carl and Justin. He said, shambolic first half, much improved second half, very happy in the end. Was lucky to see you three legends ever. Legends? No. Till the next time, come on, New Orleans. He says, Hampshire Hornet said the players showed up, not Petzolano. In Paolo we trust. Kinda, says Vic. Hey, Vic, hope you're having a good Saturday after that. Enjoy the 3 points. And Glory Hornet is back with 3 in a row. He says, square pegs, round holes, winning. We won with that team. Pizza at the Vic, winning. I had a pizza because I'm about to go out and I'm not going to get to eat. And I have to say, it was very good. I mean, I've talked about the pies before. Let's face it, clearly I've talked about the pies before, but the pizza, very, very good indeed. Badly drawn Watford has given us a picture of a corner flag in, well, all I can say is it looks like it was written in CFAX. Louis Teixeira, Google CFAX. Simon Parkin says, win doesn't disguise clear issues. Carl Campion Petzolano survives another home match. Clive, Jiggy55 says, we won despite the very strange team selection. Is there something going on behind the scenes? Why does he not play our strongest team in their correct positions from the start? Well, that's the question. Dr. Dicky Sutton comes back and reinforces his win. You know, his very strong challenge to Rich early on in the cliche state, saying Semedo rose like a salmon. We won despite the clown, says Malk up the waddy. Glory Hornet back again. Actually played well, if honest, he said. There you go. So that's looking at it in a positive way. Ground it out. Very unconvincing, says Andy Perry. Big Galoot says sacked in the morning chant worked. Oh, that's a good point. Are we claiming benefit on that? I'll go and ask HJ. I think that's pushing him too far, though, to be honest with you. I think he made a very valid point, and I'm now just teasing. Top 10 least understandable wins, says James Frankland. I'm loving the fact that somebody out there has a top 10 least understandable wins. Justin, expect untenable to be that kind of category level of ambiguous soon. That'll be good. Excellent. Dog's breakfast scraped past Hull, says Vince. Very good. Gary Fleming says papering over the crack. Don Pisder, sack him, bring in Potter now. Well, somebody was saying earlier on, if we do bring in Potter, and if that lot up the road did come back and we went there with the Harry Potter buses, I mean, we'd have to do some kind of customization job on that, wouldn't we? PE teacher gets fucking lucky, says Tom. Potso out, PP still needs to go. Tracksuit man out, says James Braxton. Jesse Hornet, time to say goodbye, Paolo. Papered over the cracks, sack clown, says Jonathan Hale. So look, the point that Tommy made, are people going to come on and tell? No, I hope I could be wrong. I genuinely hope that we can kind of having this on a regular basis, that we evolve past just the winning good, losing bad. Obviously, we've got to take that into account, but in terms of the conversation has to judge things on an overall basis, if that makes sense. And therefore it's going to be a slower thing to turn the fans back around again. But he had to do that one game at a time. There's no other way to do it. And in a way, today he's got everything that he could have achieved in that done. He's got the 2-1 win. We've seen, his persistence with Semedo. He scored the goal. Some of us were looking at it going, bloody hell, where did that come from? Well, maybe that's something he's seen. Who knows? Who knows? We will see. Let's get to the long forms, then get you young whippersnappers out on the tiles for Saturday. Mark of Watford and England says Petzolano does not have a promotion track record at a level that comes close to the Championship. I'm not even convinced he has the basic tactical knowledge needed to understand the best formation for his players, and certainly not enough to read games and make effective changes. Oh, that was good. I like that one. Mark N75 says, shall listen on Monday at work. Just wanted to say how impressed I was with Petris today. Great shift put in. Thanks, Mark. That's very good. Good point. I like that. John Parser, we tried to get him earlier on. He says, don't worry. Sound goes when it connects for some reason. Just to say, the Dogs called the 2-1 win. They did. I have to say, for the Patreons, John has been stepping in where other people have basically been going, yeah, John will do that eventually. And indeed, the Dogs won 2-1. They said, Watford win. He's not wrong. In honour of today's game, I'm renaming Bailey as Semedo. He remains a shit bio, though. 16 points or bust from 10 games for Paolo needs. So let's see. For anybody who doesn't know or won't remember, at Parlaci Gino, John asked the question on the back of the firing, obviously, of Rob Edwards the previous season. If a manager got 16 points from 10 games, would he be sacked? And the answer from Gino was, I paraphrase, roughly yes. Mike Duffy says, I don't think I've laughed as loud as I just have to the people of Helsinki will be shitting themselves. And that was, yes, that was the Finnish comment, I know. Pete, unhippie man, sends us some pictures of Grace with, I have to say, with a couple of legends there, Alan Hansen and indeed Kenny Dalglish at the Royal Birkdale event that he was talking about there. Snowboy calling in, giving us an update on all things Romanian second division. Terrible starting lineup, lucky to get the win, but grateful for the 3 points. PP is on thin ice. ASA Targu Mures are now 5th in League 2. They're 5 points off a top spot. Poor defeat today. We will be listening in on Wednesday evening. Yeah, well, all eyes will turn to Fratton Park, and probably even sooner for me and Justin to try and get some kind of opposition view done, which will more or less be talking to somebody, asking them what they think the score is, and then probably telling them to go away as we try to knock it very quickly together. Papering over the crack, says Thomas. Fuck this manager. Get someone competent in ASAP. Luca looked dreadful, said Sonny. He did come on and he looked giraffe-like, I have to say. Pissed giraffe. Here we go, says Thomas with a nice one. And PC Watford said, I accept it's not great, but we got promoted with that championship specialist Jukanovic playing 3-5-2. So hardly the championship specialist. 4-4-2 suggested by some. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's finish with Watford Limerick, shall we? So recently it's been a chore. The owner, the fans wanted more. But I watched on the stream, and in my wildest dream, I did not think Semedo to score. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I have to say, look, we can agree, we can disagree, we can call other fans, whatever, blah, 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 all of that. But all this is just about the community coming together at the end of a game and just going, was that good? Was that bad? What did you like? Did you like it? Did you not like it? It's fine. And all opinions are always welcomed. We are not always right. We are barely right, if ever. But look, this is about the wisdom of the crowd. Loads of people think certain things. Some will agree with you. Others will disagree with you. It shouldn't challenge what you're thinking. It shouldn't change what you're thinking. It's just what others are doing. Thank you ever so much for joining us. We will see you basically, hopefully be getting something out for the Portsmouth review or the Portsmouth preview. And then we will do something after the game on Wednesday. Let's hope it is another uptick in terms of, how can I put it, in terms of taking that second half, seeing whether or not we can elongate the good bit. From 60 minutes on, it got a lot better. Let's see if we can get a good 45 minutes and then the next game a good hour. That's how I used to look at pre-season when I was coaching. Was, you'd go into pre-season, not everything would fire all the time. It would all go to rat shit basically at some point, and you just try and make sure that became the good bit, became the norm. That's what we've got to hope. Has he turned it around? We won't know for several weeks, but it could be the first turn, or it could be a full storm. We will see. We will see indeed. Anyway, thank you as ever for staying with us, and have a great Saturday night. You ones.